So you want to get an olive tree for your home in Canada. Where do you start? What do you look for? How do they grow? I'm going to give you a quick guide on everything you need to know about growing an olive tree. First thing that you need to consider before you buy a tree is how much sunlight you get. A lot of people want these plants because they're beautiful. They'll only stay that way if they're getting sufficient sunlight. Have a south or a west facing window to give this plant at least 8 hours of sun a day. You're probably going to run into trouble. Now, a lot of us are really familiar with seeing olive trees in barren, deserted landscapes. They can handle that in the wild, especially when they're established. But even if you're buying like a 5 or a 6 foot tall olive tree for your home, you're going to want to make sure that these olives get enough water. The olive can handle drying out fully between watering, but seeing as the majority of people when they buy a tree don't want to see it drop leaves, you expect to water your olive tree every 4 to 5 days in the summer and about once a week in the winter. When you're picking out your tree, they're going to come in different sizes. The main thing that you're going to have to ask yourself is, what do you want this plant to look like over the period that you own it? Most olives in smaller sizes are already branching and have unique little characteristics. You may be picking out the plant and looking at the pattern of growth as a way to decide between one plant or another. When you buy a taller olive tree from us, the 5 to 7 foot version that we offer, those tend to have a very straight stem, which makes them great candidates for pruning into like a nice canopy thing that we all associate with a tree. The reality is most olive trees in the wild don't look like little topiaries. They don't look like these perfect little stems with a little bush on top. They actually are really wild and take shape and form all of these interesting and unique growth patterns. So really what it comes down to is, what are you looking for? How do you want it to look? And then picking a plant that has a growth pattern that you'll be able to shape into something that brings you joy. Which leads me to my next point. The most important thing with olives is they are going to drop some leaves. What's cool about them is that they tend to branch almost automatically without any intervention. So unlike a ficus that you may have to cut the stem of your fiddle leaf fig in order to get it to branch, or your rubber tree in order to get it to branch, because they sort of pick their own path, is they may pick a path that you don't exactly enjoy. So what I do recommend if you do get an olive tree is to pick up a pair of pruners. Those could just be like simple bypass pruners. You get some bonsai scissors, whatever works for you. To really get this plant to do well in your home and look the way that you want it to, you're going to have to try to feed it with natural organic fertilizers on a regular basis. And I can give you the recipe that I use. I use a few different things. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments or check out our website, promisesupply.com.